she actually encouraged me to start shooting other people. She's like, you're so good. You could probably you can ask all those girls that come to the Chive, because they're here for 3 days.
Yeah.
Ask them one of the days if they want to shoot with you.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the POLARIZE podcast. Today we have a photographer based out of Atlanta, and some of you might be following his work, checking him out. I know him as Sebi Raw. Some of you guys might know him as Sebastian. He's might have taken photos of some of your favorite models on Instagram. Sebi, go ahead and introduce yourself.
What's up, everybody? Happy to be here. Happy to help you out with this new venture that you're starting, which I think is valuable to the culture of what's going on right now. Like I said, I'm Sebi Raw on Instagram. I've been shooting for about, I would say, other models, a couple years, but the wifey is a model. I've been shooting her for at least 7 years now. So I have a good understanding of what I'm doing. I appreciate you having me on, and ready to answer some questions.
Yeah, for sure. I think the first time that I ever saw you in person, you probably didn't even know. Like, okay, so you know Christian, right? Pena.
Yeah, you were at that house.
Yeah.
Group shot, right?
So
yeah, I saw all y'all there. I recognized you there. You guys were just all so busy working hard.
We were. I think we were literally like throwing back Bang Energy and White Claws, and
Yeah.
we probably ate once like every day.
Well, it's pretty commendable because I kind of like to stay away from group shoots because it can get carried away. People just start drinking and partying and not really there for the reason. But you guys were all setting your stuff up, working with your individual models, and I was just like, wow, this is a pretty good setup. And you also had a great location too.
Yeah, we I think Christian had already had that organized for a client that he was shooting with, but then he was just like, hey guys, like if y'all want to pitch in, and we had like more people come out, and yeah, it was just. I remember seeing you, and I'd seen your work before, but I never saw you in person. I don't think I've seen your image that much on your story or anything. So
yeah.
But when you passed by, like in the distance, I was like, he looks familiar. And then I saw Jenna, and then I was like, wait, hold on, what's going on here? Because there was so much going on. Later that day when I had some time, I was like, oh shoot, let me reach out to him, and then we just started chatting and followed each other, and just kind of like gave each other props on the work that we were doing and everything like that.
For sure.
Yeah.
Dude, we're all on the same team. I tell everybody that who's like asking me questions about anything photography wise. I'm like, dude, we're all on the same team. I try to help everybody out as much as I can.
Yeah. So I was going to talk about Jenna. For the longest time, I thought y'all were maybe dating, or I honestly thought y'all met recently, probably because of me just following you and seeing how much y'all shot together. I probably thought, oh, they probably like just started talking. So how long have y'all been together?
So we've been together for 7 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we kind of just... I met her through my old job because, again, I was working for the Chive website. We also that's kind of where I got introduced to the whole scene because we were doing photo shoots for apparel. And I was talent coordinator at the time. I was doing a bunch of jobs, and my boss was like, hey, we need models. So I knew that I had been following Jenna on Twitter, and I just remember she was super funny and very pretty. So I invited her out from Georgia to Texas, and she came. And I just knew, like I knew what I wanted, and I knew it was her, and I just made it happen.
Wow. And that was 7 years ago?
7 years ago, and we've been doing the modeling, photography thing. Like I said, I've been doing it for a couple of years, but she's been doing it forever, so she's killing it.
So what company were you working for at that time when you were doing that?
Yeah, I was working for the Chive. They're a website. They're a popular app. Just posting social, like current events and trending content, and they sprinkle in some girl content to appease, because it's a mostly male audience.
Right.
And so I just developed a good eye, and then we would do photo shoots, once a month, and we're flying in models, so creating that camaraderie between models and making people feel comfortable around me. That was my job, and that's why, transitioning to losing that job and then transitioning into full-time photography, it's just been pretty easy for me.
So
Yeah.
I wanted to jump in over to your Instagram. I know you can't see my screen right now, but I'm currently on your page on Instagram. So here, let me make your screen a little bit smaller so the viewers can kind of see you and your page at the same time. So what I noticed this in your page and also on Jenna's page in the bio, like Google Sebi Raw, and I think she has something similar, but for her name, like what's that all about?
Dude, secrets. So again, part of my job, my whole job was social media, and I had to know all the algorithm changes and adjustments that were constantly being made, and kind of have to be one step ahead of the curve. And lately, there was just a major overhaul with Instagram algorithm.
Yeah.
So I think it was like a month, 2 months ago, people were getting all their stuff taken down, and people were complaining, and they're like, "Hey, you got to remove all your old photos, or else you're going to get kicked off."
Yeah.
You remember all that stuff? So
yeah.
with that adjustment, there was definitely some cleaning up, but we're always trying to be one up on the algorithm, and we noticed. I mean, I think you don't have to do this, but you can try it, because we've been successful trying it. We noticed that if you take your link out of your bio, Instagram will send your content out to more people.
Interesting.
So like if you have Linktree in your bio, like Instagram frowns upon that.
Wow.
I mean, pretty much I don't know what it's like for like a charity link or whatever different link, but a lot of girls are doing their OnlyFans links.
Right.
Instagram doesn't really push that content.
Right.
So the weird thing is like I was sitting at 145,000 followers for like a month, and I'm just like, man, this is usually like always climbing. And then I noticed that just a few days ago it hit 144, and I was like, what the heck? And so Jenna told me, she's like, hey, take the link out of your bio and just put Google your name there. I was like, all right. So I put it in, and the next day I woke up and it was at 146.
Jeez.
So it's just.
So for example, my page, I have a link to this podcast. Is there something that, like, should I not do that? Should I do? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I would leave it in. I mean, this is your new venture, and
Definitely.
It's not, and it doesn't go against guidelines,
Right.
A lot of the links that people do put in there, I mean, and if they go click on it, the OnlyFans, all that stuff is against Instagram guidelines.
Yeah.
Instagram also has, like, they will click. They have in their algorithm, if they click through a link, they have keywords that they pick out, and if those keywords are in anywhere on your page, they'll limit your content to all the people on IG.
So wow. I wanted to talk about your content and your style as I'm kind of scrolling down, and the one thing that definitely stands out to me is your natural lighting photography. And just like the coloring and the tones. But what was I gonna say? Oh, so we, of course, I guess your page and my page, the style is kind of similar when it comes to, I guess, how much skin is being shown. And that was one thing that I had to like slow down on the past couple months because Instagram was cracking down. And that's a good question that I would like to ask you. Like, was there any slowing down, or was there any, like, as a creative being like, ooh, I think I want to have this on Instagram and I think it can get by, but then it's like, all right, this is going to be going on an exclusive site or something?
Yeah. Well, I definitely cater what I'm posting on Instagram for Instagram.
Right.
It's not necessarily like this is my favorite content ever. It's just like I know this is quality content, and I know it doesn't go against guidelines, so then I just post it. Sometimes I try to get a little risky with some mesh stuff or some hand bra or some implied stuff. Even nudity, I try to get by with it. But for the most part, I try to just keep it, following the guidelines.
Right. So now that's good. I mean, a lot of people, I don't know.
Yeah, they don't like to do that.
Yeah, like right now, I'm pretty sure I'm still. I don't know if the shadow ban's the word or something, but people have to type in my whole name, my whole
that
at,
sucks.
just to be able to. And I've been, I guess somewhat nice, or I've been thinking about it on certain things, and
I wish they could just be like, Instagram could differentiate the like professional work
mm-hmm.
and then like this amateur bullshit that people are trying to post against guidelines, you know?
Yeah,
because we spend so much time on our craft and we develop it, like it takes us time and years and hours and days, and like when we post it, it's because we're proud of this content that we work so hard at.
Exactly.
And when Instagram's just like, no, it's just, I'm like, dang, man.
Yeah.
So I got sick of that. So now it's just like I'm just it's also leaning me more towards like producing different type of content where I don't necessarily have to show a ton of skin.
Right.
So I'm getting into more like, I want to shoot more like fashion, but also because you can do fashion, but you can also make it really sexy.
Yeah.
And it just takes a little bit more preparation to do that kind of thing. It's not a matter of you texting a girl or DMing a model and saying like, hey, let's meet up today at 5. Perfect,
right.
We'll just shoot. No, like when you want to do that type of stuff, you got to like plan it out, location, everything has to be planned. And then it's like, it's going to be a lot of your time. So typically, like, I want to be paid for that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
I don't want to just spend all this time just so I can post like a couple of pictures on Instagram. It's just like, and so that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm fighting like what to post because I have a passion for this, but I mean, I know that, you know, the Instagram audience loves this content. So it's just like, I just feed it.
Yeah.
And I try to work with as many people as I can because honestly, it's about networking and building these connections.
Right.
So that in the future, you know, I mean, I've had a lot of clients reach out to me and they're like, hey, you know, we want you to shoot these bikinis, but we don't really have models. So it's like, oh, well, I've worked with all these girls before. I can kind of like, all right, who did I like working with, or who do I think would be perfect? And I just hit them up, you know?
Definitely. And like scrolling down your page, I think we had chatted recently about lighting. We did. You're wanting to do some new stuff with what, studio lights, or I saw this one. It's with Shannon Wilkie.
Yeah.
And was this something that you did in post, or was this a light that you had a gel? Because it's like very like warm orange tones on these photos.
Yeah. So I had on-camera flash. Mm-hmm. I had honeycomb over it.
Okay.
With an orange gel, and then I stuck a cone. I just stuck a cone over that whole thing, so it could just like circle in on her. And it was super orange. Like I had to pull it back a little bit because it was like overly orange right out of camera.
Yeah.
But with my edits, you know, I just cleaned it up a little bit and pulled back the orange. I added a little bit of grain. Shoot with the R5. Pictures are super crispy, so that this image, I had to add some noise to it. I also added some layers of like dust and speckle, kind of give it like a vintage film look, because I was using that orange, you know, color hue.
And so. I think a lot of people, I've definitely been getting more questions about lighting and things that I've been doing because people have been really connecting with it, but like I feel bad personally of like not responding to messages because it used to be nothing. Like people didn't really message me as often as they are now. And also too, it's like you don't want to give out your, not a secret, but you don't really want to give out, like tell everyone specifically. And a lot of people just want the answers, like how do I get this? How does this happen? And I definitely phrase things differently to people. But I think what it comes down to is a lot of people, they want the answers, but then it's like, all right, now you need to be creative. Like you can have an aperture 120D and gels and a magnifier or like a snoot and spotlight and all that, but it's like, okay, how are you going to shoot this? And
exactly
when you shoot it and it's raw or JPEG or whatever, then it's like, all right, you shot that, it looks killer raw. Now what are you doing with it in post? that changes it.
Sure.
And I don't know. It's just interesting to me how I don't know. I guess it's something I'm still, because the new, I guess, look and style that I'm doing is new to me, and I'm just having fun with it. Like, this is
all right.
It's creativity.
I know what you're doing.
Yeah,
you're great. And so, just on a brand perspective, for you, you're talented beyond what your numbers show on Instagram. You're way more talented than what that shows.
I appreciate that.
And because I know personally, I've asked you questions, and you've always answered me. So just think of your brand and these people asking you questions. If you answer them to not necessarily your best ability, but answer the question, what they ask, you just think you're getting that one little nugget, like you're putting it in your pail. You know what I mean? And you just keep adding nuggets in there, and pretty soon your pail is going to be pretty big, where all these people are going to keep commenting and engaging in your content.
Yeah.
So when somebody asks me questions, like, honestly, I'm just like, all right, they're like, what camera do you use? How can I get pictures? I'm like, all right, I use the Canon R5. These are my settings. This is what I look for. And like, you can give them all the knowledge. You still got to go out and do it.
Right.
But they appreciate me taking, like, the 20 seconds out of my day to answer them.
Yeah.
And then I'll notice, like, man, that dude is always liking my content. He's always sharing my content.
Yeah.
He's always leaving comments, and I'm sure he's saving my pictures. So that helps with engagement. So that's how your overall numbers grow.
Definitely.
And when you do have, like, that high number, those clients are like, well, this guy, he's got to know what he's doing. He's got, 145,000 followers. Let's hire him.
Yeah.
So that's why I try to, like, be honest with as many people as I can. I try to help as many, and I always tell them, like, hey man, pay it forward. If somebody ever asks you a question, like, what did that guy tell you a long time ago? Just, he's in your shoes now, so just give him the information if you need to.
Definitely.
Because even when you told me, we were talking lighting and you were explaining, I was just like, okay, you gave me a good starting point, but I still went online. I did a bunch of research.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that's what he's using. That's how he's doing it. And you just gave me, like, the little bit of information I needed, because I know, like, I can go out and I need to be creative, but this is how he's doing it, but let me see how I can do it too.
Yeah.
So.
And that was a big thing too, because I don't use your lights, and like I even, like, when you sent that, I even did research for like 5 minutes to be like, oh, he has those lights, what can work with something like that? Because there's people who have like your lights, there's people who have like I guess older lights that people are just used to using, and they're cheaper, and it's just they're like, all I can find is a snoot, and I'm just like, well, maybe like that's what you can. It's like, I don't want to get too deep into it, but
but you're right. Yeah. I know where you're getting at. Use what you have and make it really good with what you have.
Yeah, definitely.
Because like you told me about the type of equipment that you use, and like for a starter or a beginner in that type of lighting, it's like, am I gonna go spend like $3-4 grand on this lighting when I have never used it before? It's like, no, I'm gonna. So I bought something that's like in my price range that I was like, all right, I can test it and see. I did test it. I had the spotlight. I had a bunch of different little options, and I'm just like, okay, now I know the quality of this piece versus the quality of what other people, and that's how they get that. I was like, okay, well, if I want to get the type of content that you're doing, it's like, I know that I can't use this shitty light. I mean, I get the picture and I can practice, and I've been practicing, and I'm like, I get it, but I just don't feel strong or confident enough about what I've been producing lately. But I'll get there. Yeah,
it's definitely having a very strong light, and I think the rest it becomes easy. But also in post production, I've seen people produce work that's similar to mine, and then they go into post, and I'm like, whoa. They do the whole
dude. It's layers, because you can be an awesome photographer, but you can be a shitty editor.
Yeah.
I mean, and it goes both ways. You can be a pretty bad photographer, but your editing style is like, oh, you make it look all filmy and grungy, and I was like, that kind of works, So yeah, there's definitely layers to it. So that's why sometimes I see these guys like, man, their photography is so good. But then, you see them edit some other stuff, and I'm like, oh, their video edits are not, that's horrible.
Yeah. So I wanted to jump into your relationship with Jenna, and how has that progressed over the years, and kind of, I guess touching on having a woman in your life that's close to you, but then also filming, taking photos. You're doing videos too, right?
Oh yeah, I do video. I just don't post a lot of video, but I do edit a lot of video.
But creating content that is sensual and that is this style with other women, of like how that dynamic is in the relationship.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just so thankful that I have such a supportive partner, because if she wasn't supportive, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing, or I'd be a single guy.
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot of females out there that are willing to show the support that she has to me in this industry. Because you're right, we are around a lot of women, girls modeling, and for us, it's just like, this is work and this is our craft.
Yeah.
But sometimes to other girlfriends or wives who aren't as familiar as we are with it, it can rub them the wrong way. So, I mean, like I said, I'm just thankful that I have someone that is also in part of the industry, so she has a better understanding of what I do.
Right.
She's also seen me work a lot. Like over the years, she actually encouraged me to start shooting other people. Because I was just taking all of her pictures and I was editing all her pictures. She's like, you're so good. You could probably you can ask all those girls that come to the Chive, because they're here for 3 days.
Yeah.
Ask them one of the days if they want to shoot with you. And I said, oh, you're right. Dude, I started with my iPhone, then I got a little Sony Cybershot.
Yeah.
And then I went to the Sony system, and then now I'm on the Canon R5 system. And dude, it's just like, I've developed, and she's just the whole way. She's just like, she assists me, she helps. And it's also about being open about communication too. It's just like, I don't hide anything from her. She's on my iPad. She sees all my messages. She sees if she wants. She doesn't do it, but they're all there. I'm not hiding anything.
Yeah.
And I think if you're honest and upfront with your partner, it can go a long way. And honestly, like, she helps me a lot, a ton, with like just connections. Like, hey, this girl with 1 million followers, she's in Atlanta. She wants to come over to do TikToks with me. Do you want to shoot with her while she's here?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, hell yeah.
Right. So, yeah. No, definitely. And I'll touch on that too. Like, me and Sydney, my girlfriend, we've been together. We started dating before the pandemic hit, like a couple months before that. And then so we've been together like a year and a couple months now. And it's definitely been different, because this is like probably the first relationship that's been someone who, well, has been this long, first off, but someone who like isn't getting jealous and is also seeing and hearing things that I do. And like, I think that I have a new client right now that's from her. She saw something on someone's page. They wanted a new video guy. She sent me it. I think I was really busy that day. I was about to go to sleep, checking my DMs, sent them a message, had a meeting the next day. A week later, I have the job. I'm doing work with them right now.
Nice.
And which is awesome, because like, especially with people like us, things happen so quickly. Sometimes we don't have time to just scroll through people's stories or do certain things.
Exactly.
And yeah, I mean, she sees the people that I shoot with and work with, and I know that she has other voices like friends and family members saying whatever they are saying. But at the end of the day, what does she say? She's like, he chose me. She goes, he chose me. So
yeah. Well, yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember people were telling me, or Jenna's mom was like, well, are you okay with it? Because I she's recently, I've been going on trips by myself, to Miami for 5 days, shooting just a ton of people. And Jenna's mom was like, is it okay if you let her? And the trust is so high. The trust is just so high. She just knows, like, well, there's 5 girls each day paying my day rate. That's a huge job for me.
Definitely.
So she just knows, like, I'm out there just to work. And I'm not out there to chase tail. I'm just out there to get good content and work.
Right. So no, definitely. I definitely get hit up a lot of people asking, like, especially whenever I first started shooting the content I shoot, like, hey, what's going on? Like, are you with her now? And all that. And it's,
yeah. I don't get into like personal stuff. When people ask me content, like questions, it's always about engagement. But like personal stuff, I was like, I just kind of just like pretty straightforward. I don't really get into detail about my family, where I live, but if they want to talk, my job, photography, models, like, oh yeah, I'll talk about it all day. But, just to keep kind of sort of like them separated, because you can get caught up in work life for sure.
Definitely. I'm scrolling down your page right now, and
Yeah.
I noticed that you shot, well, before I even scroll down the page, I noticed that you shot with Mia Khalifa recently. So
No,
how
yeah,
did,
that's a popular ask.
de- definitely a popular woman on the internet.
Yeah.
Um, so tell me how this came about, or like who reached out to who, or like how was this, I guess, experience shoot that you did?
Well, she's definitely not a model, but
Yeah.
she just likes to take good pictures. She just likes to take quality pictures.
Hmm.
So she lived in Austin
She did
for
for a
yeah,
little
she lived
bit.
there for I think she lived there for 3 years,
Mm.
and she came into the Chive, my work,
Okay.
and I met her, and I'm just friendly with everybody. So I met her, friendly, hey, how's it going? And then she came back another day, and then Jenna came that day, and I introduced them, or they kind of started talking, and then they became really close
Oh
friends.
wow.
They're like, I would say they're like pretty close. I mean, they're FaceTiming still. They talk, they
Yeah.
hang out, they're good friends. So every time we go visit now, she's moved to California. Every time we go, I go. I'm from California. I'm from Los Angeles. Every time I go home, Jenna
Okay.
comes with
Okay.
me. We go hang out as like friends. We go do dinner, watch movies. We just hang out. And then this particular day, she said that we spent the weekend with her. She's like, hey, I got some new outfits. Can you take some pictures? And I'm just like, all right. So it's just like just taking pictures of her. That's it.
Yeah. No,
It wasn't anything planned.
yeah, it's definitely interesting. Like there's some shoots that I do that they just kind of happen, and
Yeah.
versus like there's shoots that well, from my experience, there's shoots that I like really focus on, like, man, I really want this to happen. But a lot of times, like, the best work comes out of spontaneity and things that just
Hmm.
kind of just fall in your lap because you're like, your work is like definitely like top of the line, and it's like, all right, sooner or later, like, Sebi, or sooner or later Dustin's gonna shoot with so and so. Uh
Yeah, dude.
and
Like like I saw you like just work with Brenna recently,
mm-hmm.
and I mean Brenna is like everybody follows Brenna on IG. She's pretty
Yeah.
popular, and then for you to be shooting with her, I mean I know quality wise, you guys are like perfect for each other for
Yeah.
the content that you'd be able to produce.
Mhm.
But let's just ask another photographer with your following. Could you possibly nail a shoot with Brett? Never. Like, I probably never happen. Uh, so, I mean, you should. How did you even get that to
So
manifest?
so I'm gonna hop over to uh, my friend Danielle's page, because my good friend Danielle, she has a lingerie company called DNS Wear, and I do a lot of shoots with them, and
Nice.
Neil and Danielle are partners, and they run DNS. I'm gonna hop over to her Instagram right now to show the viewers, and we shot this video. Um, I'll just have
Did you
the
shoot all this content?
of DNS. No, a couple of it, a couple shots, yeah, but Neil, he has his own production company, modeling agency. Like, he does a
Oh,
lot.
oh,
Uh,
that's right, Neil. Yeah, I haven't met him.
but yeah, so this was in his studio at their house, and basically what I'm showing everyone right now is a video of me and Danielle, and I used a projector, and I had it
She
was
was
like
like
the circles, and it was like kind
circles,
of,
yeah,
and
black and white turning.
yeah, and so like that was spontaneous. Like, I think I saw it on I think it was Burnt Breakfast. His at is Burnt Breakfast, but his name's Jesse. He's Australian
Yeah,
photographer out of LA. He's really good work. Him and I
yeah, he
think
is good.
him and his wife do crazy work. And I saw that, but it wasn't this color. It was purple or something, or in black, and I was like, well, that's cool. But then it's like, all right, Dustin, now put your spin on it. And I was like, all right,
Yeah,
who is good in Houston that can match this vibe? And I was like, Danielle's
yeah,
perfect. And I went over there. I go,
yeah.
hey, I have this idea, and she's just like, okay, let's do it. And she's really good with her movement. Like I give her very limited direction, and
it's nice to work with models like that.
definitely. So
Professionals.
yeah,
Instead of like the girls on Instagram who are super popular, but they don't really know how to model. It's fun to work with them and produce quality content for them, and you're growing because you're working with them.
definitely.
But for me, it's like working with a professional model. You're just like, it's such a difference, night and day. You're just like, dang, I don't have to do nothing, and they're doing everything.
Definitely. So that got released, and I mean, everybody who was a part of it got tagged in it, and then all of a sudden, Brenna, I think, liked it, followed me, followed Neil, and I think followed Danielle, and Neil was all like, Neil, I think I was over there one day, and he's like, hey, this Brenna model has been checking out my work, and he goes, I feel like it was from something you created. and I go,
nice.
I go, maybe. And then, yeah, I think, I don't know. I would go into the messages, but I don't want to get too deep in that. I'm on Instagram now.
She's just like one of the top models on Instagram. She
Yeah.
only works with the best people, and like, she saw your stuff, and she was like, I want to work with that guy. And here you are working with her. And I just thought, man, that is, I mean, I was just so proud of you. I was just like, dang, that's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, I saw she does a lot of video work with what's his name?
That one guy who does a close-up.
Yeah. It's slipping my mind right now.
I know who you're talking about. I forgot what his name is though. Everybody shot with him.
It should be here. Swagabob.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know his real name, but his IG is Swagabob. And I was like looking at his stuff, and I'm like, man, these shots are really good. And that's, to be honest, that's where I kind of, I guess, put the bar of like, okay, if she's shooting stuff like this, then I'm like, okay, I know what I'm capable of, and I know what I can do. And before the funny thing was, we were supposed to shoot earlier in the month, and we decided to push the date 2 weeks because just her
she's pretty busy.
She's really busy.
She's rescheduled on me, like tons of time.
Yeah, so I didn't take it to heart. I was just like, okay, maybe this is a timing thing. And I remember that time, it was towards the end of the year, and I had an inner voice being like, dude, you're burnt out. And I was like telling that inner voice, like, shut up. I'm like, no, you're not burnt out. And then literally 2 days later, I end up taking a 2-week break, no editing, no shoot, like nothing. And I'm just binging stuff on Netflix. But the weird thing was, I was watching stuff like Fury Road, The Dark Knight, like Mad Max,
Dude,
The Dark Knight.
Inspo. Serious inspo.
Yes, and I was
your
like,
eye is different. Your eye is different, so you can appreciate that stuff.
yeah, and it was weird. It was like some vision was coming over me, being like, all right, Dustin, you need to. It sounds bad, but I was skipping through all of like the storyline aspects of the movie how you connect to the character, and I went straight to, all right, let me see guns firing, explosions, let me see all this stuff, and I was like, all right, I'm good. And it was just a good break from everything. And then when I went on set to shoot with Brenna, I was busting out gels and busting out different colors, and like, I want to use 2 lights, and I want to do this, and then Neil was just like, whoa, like everyone was like taking pictures of everything, and they're like, this is different. And I go, yeah, like I think this is just inspo, not just from movies, but inspo from just wanting to be better, do things at a higher level, and just creating. I think I was getting too stuck into like doing and I want to ask you this, do you ever get to a point where you're creating so much that it feels like the same, and you're kind of just
I think back in my earlier days of my career, I just thought like, oh, hot chicks post hot chicks. but then something changed in me where it's just like, there are so many styles to photography that if I just keep trying to master all the different types that I see, it'll always keep me on my toes. The one thing that does suck about it though is like, if I post seamless backdrop with some strobes, some gels, it doesn't perform. So it's hard. That's what I'm fighting, like posting what I want to post versus what the algorithm wants, what all my followers want.
Yeah.
It's a tough, that's what I'm battling right now. But as far as like hitting that wall, it's like, no, I just try to push through. I try to just try different things. Like, let's try night shoots. Let's try natural light. Let's try strobes. Let's go inside, out. I'm always trying to change. And I'm like, even with my editing style, I'll try to go, let's do some film stuff. Let's do some hard light stuff. Let's do some soft light stuff. I'm always trying to do different things. And you said one thing that I wanted to really point out to other people who might be listening to this. When you did shoot with Brenna, you said that, you went back and you looked at her profile to see how she moves and like what she likes to show.
Yeah.
I think a lot of photographers don't take that extra time to prepare by looking at the talent's work. So like, okay, they're going to be comfortable doing a certain position. Whereas if you don't do that, if you don't do your due diligence and you just come cold and you just and you're directing them in ways that maybe they don't always show that type of position all the time.
Yeah.
Then it's not going to produce the best content. You went that extra mile and checked your content out so you can kind of direct her how you want it to.
Definitely.
And it would be okay. It would just be okay. She's like, oh yeah, she does it already. Let me just have her do that. So that's key. People got to do that. And a lot of times some people don't. They just are excited about working with someone. Yeah.
And to add to that, I don't know. I think I started, I've been doing it very, very lightly when I first started, but during the pandemic, I flipped a switch and got way more specific on looking at stuff like that. And because I'm looking at it as a director, and when directors are finding their actors for certain parts, they're not just picking anybody. They're being very specific about it, and then they're looking through their body of work and seeing what they have done. But then when you have them on set, it's like, all right, now this is your vision. Now you know what they've done. Now can they execute having your direction? And that's how I see it. Like, it's a whole thing, especially, and it shows. It definitely shows in the images and in the videos to everybody. Definitely.
Yeah, dude. Just having her on your profile, dude, you're gonna get a lot more. I'm sure you are, but like a lot more messages from bigger accounts. You're just like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, there was. She started posting, and yeah, I was just like, what? I've seen her before. I follow her, but now she follows me. And like, yeah, literally like sitting in this chair, like, what?
Like, were you a little bit intimidated when you first worked with her?
A little bit.
Nervous, right?
I think what made the nerves run a little bit is it was honestly a full-blown production, but it was with people that I'm friends with and that I work with, but it was literally me, Neil on set, Danielle on set because they live there, Brenna, hair and makeup, all there. And it's just that's nerve-wracking. Yeah.
If you're not doing it all the time.
And then it's like first time working with her, and then there were definitely some nerves there. We've talked about some things, and she likes working together. We have good communication. Like, I think after the shoot, we went straight to just we're doing like the voice memo. We're doing the phone calls. Yeah, like we really connected with the work that we're producing and talking out on that level that I'm sure we'll be doing some work in the future. And
nice.
Yeah. So, but yeah, definitely the first time. I don't know. Once I like get my head behind the camera and I'm in the zone, then everything else just fades. So
for sure.
But yeah, definitely some nerves. I mean, kind of all the time, and especially with shooting with models that have more experience and have done stuff like. But yeah, I think when there's less people on set, definitely the nerves are kind of cooler.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've experienced both. I mean, I've also been like super nervous to work with a girl who has like 1,000 followers. You see her and you're like, okay, she knows what she's doing. So I'm like, all right, I got to bring my A game.
Yeah. There's been what was it? Like, there's models who are how do I describe it? there's models who have a great look, like have that model look, and then when you meet them in person, you're like, what the heck, man? How am I gonna do this? But then there's models who aren't really models, but they're a pretty face and they have a crazy following and they work with companies like the Chive or this and that. But you meet them and they're just kind of like, not label them as normal, but they're more like relaxed and chill and everything. But then you meet the models who are like, I've literally been on set before, and like we haven't started shooting, but like the model is like on her phone and like you see her inbox and it's like agency emails and like she's clicking on them and you see like you need to be here at this time on this date, and I'm all like, and then I just see that and I'm like, oh shoot, like, all right, Dustin, you're gonna be good, like just relax. Just do your thing. Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of where I'm at in my career too, is like I want to start working with those type of models for sure.
So tell me about, okay, so when I'm on your page, we have OnlyFans and Cheeky. So is Cheeky something that is yours, or is it similar to OnlyFans?
It's a similar platform that Jen and I built.
Okay.
So I can just host all my content, because you do a photo shoot, you post a handful of pictures with quality images, but you also have like so much other stuff. So I just I'll post galleries and sets on Cheeky. And then OnlyFans, a lot of girls ask me to shoot their premium content for them. Sometimes they pay me, sometimes it's a trade. And so with those trade options, I just kind of take the OnlyFans I like to call it premium content, and that's for OnlyFans. You got to pay for it if you want to see like a topless or an artistic nude. Right. That's where I post that stuff.
Have you thought about creating any books for the work you show? Okay.
No, I haven't. I mean, I know that people do it, but not yet. I don't. Man, I feel like maybe in like 15 years.
Yeah.
I just know that I just need to keep progressing, and I'm never really satisfied. I haven't really been satisfied yet. It's always something with me. So I come from an athletic background. I used to play sports growing up, so I have a good work ethic. Yeah. So I'm always, if I can't figure something out, I'm gonna go until I figure it out. Yeah, man, I'm just working my ass off to finally perfect my craft, and like I said, I don't feel like I'm even close.
I gotcha. So do you think? I think a question I had that I'm not gonna look at because I think it's at the top of my head, but I think we kind of touched on this, but the work that you're producing now, so like based on your following right now and the feedback that you get through DMs and messages and emails, whatever it may be, are you really listening to the people who are following you, or are you trying to create, like, is there a vision that you're trying to push and say like, all right, like I don't care about the algorithm right now, I don't care about like what,
sometimes,
you know what I'm saying?
Sometimes I go through that phase where I'm just like, I don't care. I'm just going to post this crazy, this big production that I put together myself. I don't post it on people will. Yeah, sometimes I do that, and but most of the times I do cater towards what will perform well on IG. Right. Even though it's something that I necessarily am not like. I mean, I'm pumped about all my content, but it's just like I really want to be pushing and progressing. And sometimes I feel like I'm just producing like just the same content, and it's quality, and I spend a lot of time doing it. But I'm just like, all right, I need to work with different people and get some bigger productions going here. Yeah. Just for my sake.
Gotcha. Yeah. No, it's important to keep excelling and keep finding other people that are doing things at a higher level, or even.
Oh yeah.
People who are doing things that are similar to you, but then it's like kind of picking their brain a little bit and seeing how other people are thinking, and but I mean, you're definitely consistent, and consistency is key.
That's another thing. Key. if you want to grow, you got to be consistent.
Yeah.
I posted every day for like the first year. I posted every day.
Jeez.
And I was posting multiple times in the story, engaging, using all the tools that Instagram has. Vote on this, like percentage this, tagging location. Even using the popular stickers that Instagram is offering.
Yeah.
I did it all. And that really helps. Geotagging, all that stuff. But I think one thing that I wanted to touch on that you brought up, listening to everybody, all the feedback that I get, it's, not that I'm discouraging it, but it's always positive. It's always good. Your stuff's awesome. Your stuff is good. Those colors. And I really want some like constructive criticism, because I didn't go to photography. I didn't go to art school. I didn't study photography. I do it myself. I'm like learning everywhere else. I'm buying, the classes, the courses, the YouTube. I do everything myself. But nobody's telling me like, hey, this is, this principle is wrong.
Yeah.
Your color palette is way off. Like you're not supposed to do that, or just any type of theory that comes with photography. Like nobody tells me nothing, and it's just like I had a couple of friends in Austin who would like be real with me, but I moved, so it's just like, all right, now I'm kind of thriving. Like I asked Jenna, like, hey, what do you think of this picture? She's like, oh my god, that's the best thing I've ever seen. And I'm just like, man, I was looking at that, scratching my head, thinking it's not that good. She's like, it's the best. I was like, okay.
No, that's definitely a good point, because I think I asked a friend of mine, or I told a friend of mine, like I think a year or 2 years ago, and I was like, wouldn't it be interesting if the comments from YouTube and Instagram switched? And I was like, I wonder how creative. I wonder if there would be even more people on YouTube than there is now, because YouTube comments can get like bad. Not from my experience, but from experience from people who have decent followings or like become like celebrity status on Instagram. Like those comments are pretty rude. Some
harsh.
Yeah.
Harsh.
And then you go over to Instagram and everyone's like, yo, love it. Or they're not even just, some people just will toss the emojis because I don't really have time to type anything. They're just like fire or
exactly. You're just like, all right, I mean, there's nothing for me to judge whether or not I can improve, where I can improve, what is cool about the picture, because we see it differently. People are just like, oh, that chick's hot, great picture. Yeah. But I'm just like, I mean, did you notice the color grade I did on that thing? Did you notice like the background? Did you notice, the bed or the piece of furniture that she's laying on? It's like, people can't give me that feedback that I'm like kind of thriving and I'm hoping for.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting, because like if Instagram wasn't a thing and we just relied off of something else, like I guess what I'm getting to is, it's, for me personally, I think of other creatives that are like have a big following, and then I see their work and it's almost like that's standard in a way.
What do you mean, to have a lot of work?
No, I guess what I'm getting at is like have you heard of, you've seen like Clint's work?
Yeah, I met Clint. We've shot together before.
Yeah, so someone like Clint or someone like Sam Dameshek are two people that I admire their work, but I'm not like sitting on my phone all day being like, oh, that would be like, I'm not like, I guess comparing, but I'm like, man, that's good work. But then if you tell someone who's, I don't know, 30 and they grew up in a different, like they didn't grow up on Instagram, and they're creating like really high quality work, and they're having it printed and they're getting paid for it, and they're living their life and they feel like successful. Versus like how can you say that like so and so's work is like the best when like someone could be way over here in left field and their work is actually like fine art style, you know what I'm saying? Like there's so many different levels of photography.
Yeah, but there does come a point where you can kind of separate yourself just by communicating with them. Like, okay, like I've heard some people like really popular photographers that are shooting for Playboy, they're like shooting on automatic, and it's just like, and like they have their own retoucher, they have their own color corrector,
that's wild.
They have hair and makeup, they have talents, like, it's just like, damn, dude, you shoot on automatic. Like, there's so much for me personally that go into my settings on any situation that I gotta always be adjusting, whether it's filters, whether it's your shutter speed or your ISO, or your f-stop, or even what lens you want to use. I mean, so I can kind of tell them apart eventually, but yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, I wanna jump over to the questions that some people sent into. I think I took some screenshots, but let me just
I sent those to you.
Jump in. Let's see. What were the biggest barriers to build your brand? Any models/people stood in your way?
I think at the beginning, Sebi Raw, I was doing it as a side hustle. So that was a huge, like, I have a full-time job still that I have to that's my priority, because it was paying me the bills. And it was a great job, and I was getting paid really well because I had been with this company for 7 years. But that was the number one barrier, because I found myself like, man, I want to shoot more. I want to edit more at work. And I was taking lunch breaks to go do shoots. I was like, coming in late because I did a morning shoot, or I was leaving early to go to like a rooftop shoot. So I just found myself like, man, that's really, so when I got let go, it was kind of like a blessing in disguise, because, we weren't sad when Jenna and I were like celebrating when I got let go. It was more like, finally, you can do what you want to do. We can work together and we can create this awesome content. So
yeah, that
was one big barrier. Like, if you have a passion and you find yourself doing it a lot, but you do find, dude, you only live one life. You got to try it. At least pursue it one time. Give it a good go. Like, give it a solid go. And that's what I'm doing now. And I'm happy that it happened. I don't know if I ever would have quit, just because health benefits and your 401k and getting taken care of consistently. Like, you don't have to worry about money. So now you're like a contractor, independent contractor, and you're just like, you have to kind of grind a little bit more. Along learning your craft, you also got to like bring in business. So, but right now I wouldn't have it any other way. It's amazing.
That's good. That's good. Let's let me see what else we got here.
Also have, like, if you're shooting with models and you're doing the type of photography and content that we do, and you're just starting, man, get your models, or get the talent or your friends or whoever you're working, like, have them sign a model release just real quick. There's a ton of apps out there that you can use that have like releases all written up. You can go in there and adjust it wherever you want. Just have them sign it before you work, because communication may get lost when you're shooting the type of content that we do. Sometimes nude, sometimes implied. And if you're posting some stuff on Instagram that they don't necessarily want on Instagram, or posting it on OnlyFans they don't want on OnlyFans, to eliminate all that nonsense, just it takes 2 seconds. You can even PDF it before the shoot. Like, hey, sign this. I'm just trying to keep it professional. I want to shoot whatever you're comfortable shooting, and I want to be able to post it wherever I want. So just make that clear. So that's another barrier that it happened to me, early on in my career, where I was just like, hey, girl comes over. She's like, I just want to shoot nude. Great, we shoot nude. I posted on my OnlyFans. So she finds out. She's like, hey, why did you post that on your? I'm like, well, you didn't even bring any outfits.
Right.
All you wanted to do is like, what am I supposed to do with it? It's my time. You didn't pay me. We said we were going to trade. This is a trade. And come to find out, she was just all pissed because I sold it and I didn't ask her. And I'm just like, okay. And then her new content is on some other random online magazine for free.
Oh.
And she said that. Well, she's like, well, that's there because they asked me. And I'm just like,
oh wow.
Sorry, I'm not giving away your content for free. But yeah, there's just like weird barriers sometimes that come with this business, where you just gotta I like to nip it in the butt. Here's a model release.
Yeah.
It's a PDF. It's like, sign it. You're good to go.
No, yeah, definitely that's important. The more shoots that I've been doing, there's a lot of like contracts from agencies and protecting their models and personal people. Like, I'm pretty sure I signed something with Brenna, and with the bigger people you shoot with, it's important that especially for the models, like they should create something that protects them, and then even vice versa. It's like, all right, well, if you sign this, like could you sign this as well, and whatever it is. And to kind of relay off of that one, there's another question says, what tip would you offer other creatives for building long-lasting relationships?
So that was a good question. I saw that. I think one thing that separates me from a lot of the other photographers I hear about, some of the models that I work with talk about and what they say about their experiences. I live with Jenna. We've worked together forever. She's trained me how to deliver content. I always used to like hold the content, look at all the content, process it, take everything, like all the bad pictures out or what I didn't think was good. And sometimes it would be a week before I get you your content, maybe 2 weeks. Sometimes I forgot, and then they'd have to message me like, "Hey, do you have the content already?" I'm like, "Oh shit." So what I've done, and I started this way back early on in my career, I shoot RAW and I shoot JPEG. And so this way, right when the shoot's done, I can just plug my SD card in and put it in their Dropbox. Just all the JPEGs go right into their Dropbox.
Yeah.
This way, by the time a model gets home, she's so happy because she has all the content that she can look at all night, and she's never going to bother me for anything. It's like whereas if you don't give a girl, she's going to message you eventually, "Hey, where's the content?" They're like, "Oh, sorry, I'm working." Message you again, "Hey, where's the content?" So I avoid all that. So I just, like, same day, I'm like, plug it in. I offload the RAWs onto my external hard drive.
Yeah.
I send the JPEGs in a Dropbox. So I have a lot of backups. I have like 2 backups, and then I have all the RAWs on external, and then I can just reformat my card. So this way I don't have to think about it anymore. It's like, all right, when they want to send me their selects, I'm not going to bug them or ask them for them. If they send them, they do. If they don't ever send them, I'm not going to be like, "Hey, when can I get a photo?" I don't do that. I'm just like, "Hey, if you want your edits back," and I would say, and then here's another thing. Like, I think maybe down the road, but right now I feel like the pictures that I take are great. They're so good. And I would say about 75% of the girls that I work with, they post those pictures right away. Like the JPEGs that I send, they post them right. Yeah. Even Jenna does it. She's like, "I don't care. I look amazing."
Yeah.
Our eyes were just like, "Okay, I want to do so much of that picture, but you know what? If you post that picture right now, I know that I'm going to get 5,000 followers. So go ahead." So then you stack all the girls that you work with the whole week, and you just send them all the content, and they start posting, and pretty much you're like, "Damn, I got 6,000 followers this week just from them letting them post all the content that they want."
Yeah.
And what is anybody going to say to you? Like, nobody has said it like, "Hey, I can't believe you're letting your RAWs out." Like, nobody has ever said that to me.
Right. Yeah.
And like, here's my following at 146. That, like, it's just. And so what that does is models will be like, "Damn, this fool gives me my pictures the same day." Same day. They tell their friends, and then now they're hitting me up to work with me. And then I get repeating customers. Like, they keep coming back because I keep sending them their content right away. They send me their selects, edit them, send it right away.
Right.
So I try to just do it as fast as possible because, if it's not like a big campaign or an editorial that I'm shooting for a company, it's like, dude, we're just Instagram content.
Right, yeah.
OnlyFans content. That shit lasts, a week, and then on to the next.
Definitely. No, I use a site called Shootproof, and it's really quick with uploading JPEGs, and depending on the client, will either put a watermark on it or nothing, and it's just really quick. Give me your email. All right, you got them. You got all the JPEGs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That goes a long way for photographers out there that want to get in this business, or they're already in it and they want to establish like long-lasting good relationships. Like, deliver as fast as you can with them. This way, when these models go on other shoots, they don't have anything bad to say about you other than that they had a great experience.
Gotcha. Let me see. This is from the same guy, but these are some good questions. He was talking about what feelings / mindset makes possible for you to work long days. So basically, like, what is your how is your mindset? How strong it is to be able to get through like long days and continue to like keep doing what you're doing as long as you've been doing it.
Oh yeah. I mean, my mindset is to always like finish what I'm working on like in the same day. Try not to like drag it on.
Yeah.
So if sometimes it may take me 4 or 5 hours, but when I'm working, like I don't stop until it's finished. so I don't really think about the time until it's just like, oh damn, that Netflix movie is over that I had going on in the background.
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit, I must have been working on this edit for a minute. But you know, and then like also shoot day. What inspires me and what gets me going is like, I want to bring the best out of the subject, out of the talent. And so you can do that before you even meet. Like communication between, like be willing to respond right away. Like if they ask you a question, I'm gonna message you back. Like, all right, yeah, you want this? Here you go.
Yeah.
Or like, hey, you know, here's my address. Looking forward to the shoot. Here are some ideas. So they're already excited. And then when they show up on location, I make sure that, like, you know, the location is nice. It's clean. I got some music going on, so it like sets the tone.
That's
of
important.
the atmosphere. Yeah, and so they walk in and they're just like, oh shit, this is sick. Like, I'm gonna bring my like, so that it makes them feel good right off the bat, instead of like, a lot of girls are nervous or anxious that they're going to be showing a little bit when they shoot, especially with someone they haven't met before. So I try to make them as comfortable as possible so that I can bring out the best of them when we do shoot.
Gotcha. No, it's definitely important. Like atmosphere communication is key, and a lot of people either overlook it or they don't give it enough attention.
Yeah, and don't hit on the girls or be suggestive in any way.
Yeah.
Like that will never work. And I grew up in Southern California. I know my way around females. And I kid you not, if you're in it to meet girls, like if you don't do that stuff, you'll be surprised with like how many are actually like, hey, why isn't that guy talking to? Why isn't the photographer like? I swear to God, if you just are professional, you do your job, and you're like semi-interested in a girl, but just be professional. Like, you'll be surprised. She's like, what the hell? I was out here fronting my stuff. You didn't say nothing to me. Jenna said that to me when I first met her. We shot the whole day. And she's like, you didn't hit on me. You didn't flirt with me. Nothing. And I left. I was thinking, what the heck? Why didn't you do it?
Yeah.
So I'm just like, that's not a good idea.
I got you. So I wanted to, I think I have three questions that for me that I want to definitely touch on. So first, how's the new city? Like, how's Atlanta? You're living there now?
Yeah. So I'm in Atlanta now. It's a way bigger city. There's a larger market here. There's more people to work with. Like, I'm barely, dipping my toe in the water here. And I'm booked every week. I've got 5 shoots a week.
That's good.
And it's more diverse in Atlanta, whereas in Austin, Austin is Longhorns. Yeah. A bunch of Longhorns there. Yeah. And it was like the same look. It was like this. It was
similar.
I had my friends that were like more exotic looking, but I mean, for the most part, it's the same look out there in Austin. But here in Atlanta, it's obviously a little bit more diverse. So I'm really looking forward to working with some girls with like darker pigmentation. Just never happens. Like what that does with my strobes, how I edit that type of skin, and also like the city itself is beautiful. I'm in Buckhead. It's super clean here.
Where is that located compared to downtown Atlanta?
So it's just north of that. It's just north of it, downtown by like 3.5 miles.
Okay.
And it's just clean. There's no homeless people anywhere. No tents. No nothing. Wow. We live in a nice area. I mean, I've really enjoyed it. People like coming to Buckhead, like when I set up shoots, and like my studio's in Buckhead, they're just like, oh, cool, I love going there. So it's been good so far.
Yeah. If you could, wait, let me skip that one. So yeah, this is basically tying to the first question. So you're already there in the new city. Basically, it says, when moving to a new city, are people contacting from the start? Or is sending emails and DMs still a part of your strategy? Yeah,
I mean, I moved here and basically I had to start all over because I didn't know anybody here.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just a matter of like social media. I gotta really put my entry level position pants on here. Yeah. And I'm DMing. You can only DM a certain amount of people a day, but I'm DMing like 10 people a day. I'm searching hashtags, like popular hashtags that models use. I'll go in there, I'll like all their content, just try to draw some attention so that they can message me. I've gone on Facebook. There's Atlanta photography groups.
You'd be surprised. Facebook got
dude.
They got some models.
Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just put the other day I shot at Photo House in Austin.
Okay.
And I put that studio work on one of these Atlanta pages. Man, I got 10 messages in like an hour.
Nice.
So it's just like, so it's just a matter of like, really grinding it out when you've done that in the past already to establish stuff. But in a new city, you kind of hit the reset button.
Mm-hmm.
And I've noticed like it's been a month, and I'm just like, man, I haven't really talked to that many people, even though I technically have from the outside looking in. But I can see it picking up now because I'm getting a lot of messages of people, wanting to fly in to work with me, and I'm just like, sure. I mean, I'm not gonna say no.
And also too, I remember, just a little side note. I remember whenever I was in school, I got accepted to a school in Atlanta, and I almost moved there. And it was kind of around the time when I first started photography. I decided not to do it, just student debt problems, issues. But basically, I started looking around like, all right, if I did live here, all right, I see Florida's this close, Tennessee's right here. Like you're near a lot of especially, I don't know if you do any driving, but especially compared to the traveling from Austin to Dallas, and it's like 3-4 miles. But if you went 3-4 miles south from Atlanta, it's like you'd be in Florida or close, right? You'd be, like you're near a lot of cities that brings up that are like not just in the same state. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah, that's another thing for me too. It's like the flight to Miami is like 35 minutes.
Exactly. Yeah.
And there's flights all day, like every day, every hour, and then they're super cheap. I mean, you could fly to Miami for like $55. I could just pack my camera, go shoot for a day, and then go back. You know, it's And then also, East Coast. So now I'm going up to Charlotte next week. Mm-hmm. I didn't think I'd ever be going. Oh no, I'm going to Charleston, South Carolina. So I got like 5 bookings there with like some pretty good accounts, and I'm just like, wow, it's nice. And I'm driving. We're gonna drive there. So
and the thing too about those cities are like they're near the coast, and like there's some pretty areas, a lot of like old homes that are like repainted or refurbished, and like you're right next to the water, and people kind of they overlook it, but there's some nice areas out there.
That's the market I'm looking to tap right now, because like you just said it. We rented an Airbnb in Charleston on the water, like this refurbished place, kind of old but like new paint. It just looks very photogenic. And I'm just like, that's gonna kill for us. Yeah. So
this one is this question is a little bit more complex, but basically, if you could create content with an unlimited budget for 2 days, how would you spend that budget?
Dude, I would pay myself. I'd pay my friend. I'd pay my friend for an assistant.
Yeah.
And then I'd get I wouldn't even need the top models, but I'd get a good model. I would just, you don't need much to produce the best content. And I'm just thinking like Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue, right? Mm-hmm. Like you just, you send me to Bora Bora, bring fly the model, and I need one kid to hold a reflector, and I'll shoot with my film camera, and I'll still produce solid content. It'll be sick. It's just a matter of like having the eye. Just why it's like unlimited money. It's just like, okay, maybe if I had maybe take up one of Elon's rockets and do a space shoot. Maybe something crazy like that.
Yeah.
But you don't, to produce the content that you see or that I do. Like, you don't need all this fancy equipment. You can literally do it with like a film camera.
Yeah.
You can buy I got a film camera at like a Goodwill, and I started popping off awesome content with it. So yeah, money wise, I don't know. I've never had that either too. I've never had like a company give me like, here's $10,000. Shoot our campaign. I would love that. I'm like, what am I gonna do? You were talking about your boy Sam. I mean, he shoots a lot of campaigns with his little contacts, dude. I'm just like, dang.
Yeah, I've never met him, but it would be nice in the future. But yeah, I've looked at his story a couple times, and yeah, he's declining digital shoots. Like clients are hitting him like, hey, could you shoot our campaign or shoot this but digitally? And he's like, no, because he's getting more clientele for his film, and they're willing to pay. And if you have clients that want them, like if you're he has stuff that's on billboards out there, so it's like if you have stuff that people are hiring you for film and they're like you're getting the money, that money's going towards the film's expensive, then like you're doing your thing, you're living. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
but dude, he does something that I think a lot of photographers that we do, they kind of just get into it and they're just like, we want to make these girls look sexy and pose. And I feel like I've done a lot of modeling myself, and a lot of the stuff I did was more lifestyle. So it's just like, all right, go in the Jeep with the top down and just drive, and I'm going to take pictures of you. And there's no direction. Like, he's like, oh, hey, tell a funny joke or turn the radio on. And I think Sam, he does get those lifestyle shots, but he's able to find the angles of the subjects where it makes them look so good. Yeah. You're just like, oh, they're just sitting on a washer and dryer, and they're laughing at each other. But, you know, he got her face structure, which is, like, perfect. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that guy's outfit is, like, it's just hanging off. His jacket's hanging off just right. Like, there's just, like, little things that he does, but they're always lifestyle. It's not, like, so posy.
No, yeah. And I remember I watched to touch on it a little bit, I remember I watched a podcast that he was on, and he talked about it briefly of like the like a portrait picture of a girl kind of like looking off towards the camera, but he doesn't have them like, hey, look at my camera. He's like, look that way, and then on like 3 or whatever, turn towards me. So he's capturing that natural look across, like if a girl's looking across the room versus like, hey, look at my camera. It's like, no, he's capturing movement. Yeah,
and I definitely, that's definitely part of my workflow. I never heard him say that, but the way I came across that is because I've had Jenna as assisting me one time, and I was shooting a model, and Jenna was off to my left, like maybe like 15 feet, and she was getting BTS, and she said, hey babe, she's like, hey, come over here, this angle's really good. And I've carried that in my photography when I shoot, like forever since. So I shoot here, and I literally say, I was like, all right, you pretend that I'm still here. I'm gonna go over there to shoot, but pretend like I'm still here. So they're posed, or they're looking this, but I'm over here getting this thing, and I also say, okay now, give me your eyes.
Yeah.
So then they'll send their, and I'll get that shot.
Yeah.
So I definitely try. I mean, angles is another thing that I kind of want to show in my photography. I try to get all of the angles because again, I see a lot of these guys who are so popular. It's just like a box with a strobe, and then just pose, full body all the time.
Right.
And like some of the guys that I look up to, I mean, they're getting just core pictures that are just awesome. Like the lighting is just hitting the abs perfectly. Yeah. And the grain is playing off of it just perfectly, and it's just like, oh. And then they maybe got some body jewelry on that's just like glimmering just right. Just like, I appreciate that kind of stuff. Not like, okay, just stand there in your bikini and let me take a picture. It's like, okay. I think you gotta look past that.
Yeah, I think a big thing that I'll probably see more out of your work, because you already shoot a lot of sunlight, is being on that East Coast. Because photographers or filmmakers who are either on the West Coast or the East Coast, well, first of all, it's 2 completely different lightings from people who've experienced it. But it's like that golden hour sunlight, it just hits different when you're on the freaking beach.
Yeah. I haven't gone on the beach yet. I'm going to be out there soon. But not yet.
Yeah. But yeah, man. I think I'll probably wrap it up here. But I appreciate your time. Like we definitely talked about a lot of things, and I know we've been discussing getting together soon. You're out in Atlanta now, but definitely try to get a ticket out there and see.
Yeah, and you're in Houston.
Yeah, Houston right now.
Yeah, I definitely have in the future when I come back to Texas, because right when I left, everybody in Texas was hitting me to shoot. Go figure.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, man, I could probably book so much there right now. So yeah, I do plan on coming back to Austin. Maybe make a trip down to Houston. We should link up.
Yeah, for sure.
But and I think this is cool what you're doing. Just keep up with it. I'm sure a lot of people are hungry for this type of information, and I'm sure it'll be successful beyond your dreams, dude.
Appreciate it, man. Yeah, and I'll probably just close it out here. Thank you guys for watching. Had a great guest on the show, Sebi, today. And make sure you guys subscribe. We need some more subscribers. It's a new venture for me. It's a lot of stuff that's been kind of on the back burner. I've been wanting to produce something like this for a while. So thank you guys for watching, checking this out. Leave some comments. Let me know, and Sebi know what you guys think of this podcast. And see you guys next time. Peace.
Later.